Hey guys, welcome to BitBoy Crypto. I am your host, BitBoy. Welcome to the channel. Today we are actually going to be talking about the issues going on with Ethereum Classic and whether or not this means that the project is dead, because that's what a lot of people are saying. Make sure you're a subscriber to our channel. We're giving away a Ledger and a Litecoin this month. Make sure you like and comment to get your entry. We're also doing a big giveaway near the middle of the month, so stay tuned for that. So, okay guys, as far as this situation goes, we got to start with the tweet that was released today. It was an image. It was basically some text on an image, so I'm going to read it to you guys. And it's from etcdev. We'll talk about what that is in just a minute. So, etcdev announcement to the Ethereum Classic community: is with great regret that I communicate the shutdown of etcdev current activities related to Ethereum Classic, effective immediately. As is publicly known, we have struggled with funding our operations in the last few weeks. This was partially due to the market crash, combined with a cash crunch in the company. We appealed to investors in the ecosystem as well as external to it. We also did to the community fund, but in none of those cases were we successful in securing short-term financing. Thanks to our developers and other people who've helped me and etcdev build our great products and vision in the last 2.5 years, from Igor Artamonov, founder and CTO of etcdev. So a lot of people today on Twitter saw this tweet and started spreading the rumor that Ethereum Classic was dead. Well, a couple of hours after that, we got this tweet from Ethereum Classic, the official account, and it says Ethereum Classic is not etcdev. Ethereum Classic is iohk, etc co-op, etc labs, etcdev, and a litany of volunteers. Keep calm and build on. Well, basically, you've got to understand the relationship between all of these different parties. So Igor, who wrote that statement, is the founder and CTO of etcdev, which is the main group of developers that's been working on the core tech of Ethereum Classic. However, as you guys can see here, it says iohk. Well, iohk handles all of the development for Cardano. Charles Hoskinson is the CEO or CTO, one or the other. But basically, iohk does the same thing for Cardano that etcdev has been doing for Ethereum Classic. So basically now, one of the two companies that have the capabilities of developing Ethereum Classic is gone. And now iohk is the only one left. And I just wonder, with all the drama that's gone on with Cardano and the Cardano Foundation, if maybe bringing in the influx of employees from the Cardano Foundation that Cardano is doing, iohk and Emergo, maybe they'll actually have some extra people to help with this. I'm not really sure if there's any developers in that group. But that is iohk and etcdev. They are the two development companies. The etc co-op, so this is a group of advisors and staff members that kind of oversee the flow of Ethereum Classic. Then you have etc labs, which is also affiliated with DFG, which is a financial investment group. And then, of course, etcdev and a litany of volunteers. Well, let's break down the people here involved, because this is very, very, very important. We have Igor. He is the head of etcdev. He's been involved in Ethereum Classic ever since the fork. Well, Ethereum forked. He stayed and worked on Ethereum Classic. And now he has basically said he's giving up on the project due to the lack of funds. And we'll talk about in just a second how he's already asked for funds and didn't get it. Then, of course, we have Charles Hoskinson. We've already talked about his role. Barry Silbert. He is the CEO of Digital Currency Group and one of ETC's earliest proponents. However, there's a huge misconception that Barry Silbert has been investing in Ethereum Classic, and apparently he hasn't, at least not nearly to the level that we've been led to believe that he was doing. And then you have James Woe. Now, James Woe is very important because he is heavily involved through his company, Digital Finance Group, DFG. So it's based in Shanghai and is a diversified business group that focuses on investing in and developing blockchain technologies and digital assets. Its business segments consist of angel investments, venture capital, private equity, strategic investments, mergers, and acquisitions. So also, if you look over here at Ethereum Classic Labs, which is basically where people build on top of Ethereum, James Woe, the chairman of etc Labs. So he's got a lot of influence in this area. Now, let me break down to you guys what Igor said happened. a couple of weeks ago, he appealed for funding for the project. He said that unfortunately, open source projects just don't get the money invested in them that other more business-minded projects do, or at least capital-raising projects do. And this is due to the fact that any donation they got, it wasn't even a large donation. It actually turned out to be pretty small, and they only got a few of those as well. Now, supposedly they were waiting on some type of funding, but Igor never really talked specifically about what that funding is. And I'm going to speculate here a little bit. So I want you guys to know that some of this at the end of this video is going to be me speculating based on what I've read and what I believe the evidence to be.
Well, all right. It was a jump to conclusions, Matt.
So the speculation here is that I believe that Igor was waiting on a big round of funding from DFG, which James Woe was in charge of. Now, how do I know that? Because later on he would say that basically he wanted them to fund, but they didn't. And I feel like they were in a power struggle back and forth between whether or not James Woe and DFG was going to invest in Ethereum Classic and keep the project afloat. One of the biggest reasons they were having financial problems was just the market crash. Ethereum Classic, after being listed on Coinbase, went all the way up to almost $18, I believe, and now it's sitting around $6. So the price has gone down like 60%. So it's been really crazy. And I think what they were hoping is a bull run would come and be able to propel them forward. When that didn't happen, they went to DFG, they appealed to the company, and they just couldn't get the funds that they were looking for. So ultimately, Igor had to bow out. Well, here's where it gets a little bit fishy in my opinion, which is, and this is no indictment on Ethereum Classic, I'm going to explain how this could be a good thing. It may not be a good thing, but only time will tell. So one of the key reasons why DFG and James Woe decided not to invest in Ethereum Classic is because they wanted to change some of the core technologies and the direction of Ethereum Classic. And basically Igor said no. He said, I'm not going to change Ethereum Classic in order to get this funding. Well, I'm not sure exactly how long ago that was, but supposedly DFG basically placed a mole inside of Ethereum Classic. His name was Darcy. I can't remember his last name, but Darcy was involved in the everyday operations of etcdev. Now, it's weird because Igor said, he didn't really do much, and all he did was kind of take notes. When you are at a job or someone at your job, and then all of a sudden somebody appears right next to you or right next to them and is like a new employee, but it seems like their whole job is to copy down what you're doing. That's a good sign that you're going to get fired and somebody wants to take it over. And it almost seems like that's what happened in this situation. And I'm not sure who all is involved in this, if Charles Hoskinson is involved, if other members of the advisory board are involved, or if it's just DFG because they're the money people. But it seems like they didn't like the direction the tech was heading in, and they wanted to make changes, and they were trying to leverage that investment against etcdev in order to get them to make the changes that I guess ultimately might have led to a better success of the project. So in my opinion, it seems as if this has actually been a giant power struggle. And by this tweet coming out today from etcdev, and then the next tweet from Ethereum Classic, you can kind of feel those power dynamics going on between those two entities. Well, now etcdev is out, and it's yet to be seen exactly what iohk is going to do, whether they're going to do it internally or whether they're going to maybe create a new entity for the development. I'm just not really sure. But if it seems to me that this was almost a conspiracy against etcdev. I know I'm speculating, but based on the evidence and based on what I've read, that's the way that it feels. And that might not be a bad thing. If you have Charles Hoskinson, who is known to be a bit of a, I don't want to say drama queen because that, demasculates him, but has been known to cause waves, right? And he's kind of known for that. So if somehow Charles Hoskinson was not happy with where the development was going with Ethereum Classic and maybe circumvented etcdev and got DFG involved in this situation to leverage the money to get the changes that ultimately maybe everybody else other than etcdev wants for the project. That's certainly from the 30,000 foot view what appears to be happening here. So a lot of people are saying that Ethereum Classic is dead, and I would say absolutely not. I would say that it seems as if this is very similar to what happened with the Cardano Foundation when Charles Hoskinson and Emergo wanted to push the CEO of the Cardano Foundation out, and they ultimately succeeded, and a lot of people think that's what's best for the project. This feels very similar to that in terms of maybe people wanted this tech to go somewhere, the development team was not working on it, and they said, hey, we got to figure out a way to get them out so we can get the people in here we need in order to take this project in the right direction. So there is a chance that this might actually be a giant blessing in disguise. The price hasn't been hurt too bad so far. I'm not really sure why that is. I would have expected with all this FUD going on, the Ethereum Classic would have dropped, but it actually hasn't yet. So just very interesting. I want to share my thoughts on this and tell you guys why, yes, this is true. etcdev is not working. They've ran out of money. But why, even though that's true, that doesn't mean necessarily anything negative for the project. A lot of people really like Igor, and he's been very involved in the project for a long time. So there is that aspect of it. We do have a human here who's basically lost his job and ran out of money. So I don't know what his financial situation is, but I certainly wish him the best. And, who knows, maybe he might go on to do his other project from here. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, become a member of the Bit Squad, enter our contest by liking and commenting below. BitBoy out.